Now, I've been told by a mate of mine this is a piece of cedar. I'm looking at this wood and I'm thinking normally if we go to the end here I would simply isolate the pith by cutting the piece of wood down this way, and have kind of a blank around about a 10 by 10 bowl. But you know, I'm looking at this bark here. I'm looking at the configuration of the bark. I'm thinking I want to keep all this on the outside of the bowl. Probably strip off all of the loose bark, get back to the wood itself, and hollow out this bowl. I don't know, I've never tried this before, but I'm going to give it a go. So I'm going to get it on the bandsaw first, just to cut a lump off, and mount it on the lathe with the screw chuck, and yeah, start some work on it. Follow me. There's no mistaking this is cedar. You can smell it after you put it onto the bandsaw. So I've really not turned a lot of cedar, just kind of steered away from it with the more hard woods. Then we'll start this project with getting rid of the bark. Just kind of pulls off, and I'm quite liking what's underneath. Now I've got most of the loose bark off here, the stringy bits here I'll take off with a wire brush on the end of a drill. But I won't do that right at this point in time, because what I want to get done is to cut a tenon on the bottom of this, a concave tenon, without upsetting the rim of this exterior. So then I can turn the bowl around and mount it on the truck. So all I'm going to do with this outside, from what I can see here at the moment, is to take the stringiness off, wire brush it to get down to its bare wood. It is quite damp wood actually, so it's got some higher moisture content here. I may even let it dry out a couple of days. And then I'm going to sand it with sandpaper on the outside, and then put a finish on it. Basically, I want to leave the outside with all this character. It might turn out to be quite a nice looking piece. Alright. So before I turn the bowl around on the truck, I've got all this fluffy exterior bark, which could be taken off with the drill and the wire brush. But I've got a arbortech carving tool. Now this is a carbide bit in the end here that's specifically for carving wood. I'm going to use this on the edge here to take this fluff off, and put a chamfer on the bottom of the bowl here just to make it a nice clean edge. So that's the arbortech carver, wood carver, taking out as much as I possibly can in most of these areas on the bottom. I'm trying to get a little bit of a curve on the bottom of the bowl without upsetting the outside of the bowl. So a bit of mix and carving, and now I'm going to do a lot of sanding to get this kind of smooth. So it kind of gives a bit of character on the bottom of the bowl and leaving it very natural on the side. You know, very, very carefully put on a very small and very flat surface for the bowl to stand on. It's such an irregular shape that we've got to have the bowl stabilised when it sits on a table surface. So the bottom has been shaped, sanded for many an hour, and I'm quite pleased with the outside. I'm going to use the Clean Armour sanding sealer on all these surfaces. Got a nice little, probably 3/16 foot on the bottom here for the bowl to sit on. And once we turn the bowl around and take the tenon off the bottom, we'll have that sitting about a ½ inch wide. So on with the sanding sealer, and I think I'm going to go with a gloss like the last project I did, but again, wet wood does seem to seal it. I will report back on this as we keep going forward with this product. It's quite impressive so far. A little bit of UV light on the job just to set this off. And as I say, it's about 1.5 minutes. Usually put on about 50 RPMs. Get it turning. The wood sealer sitting stable on there for about 15 minutes. And a Clean Armour gloss. I might put 2 coats of this on. We'll just see how we go. So I've removed the tenon from the bottom of the bowl, and it does need to have a little more work done on the inside here to make it a little more convex and get rid of some of the bubbles here that's appeared when we've applied the finish. The trouble with this is it's now off center, so I might need to just sand this as we go through. Anyway, so one of the things I've learned about this Clean Armour product is that if you apply it to extremely wet wood, it will bubble. I've got rid of most of it by sanding back on another coat. But look, here's the project. It's finished. I'm quite pleased with it, to be honest. This is the first time I've turned a bowl and left the outside au naturel, aside from the live edge bowls. So you can see here very, very closely that it came out extremely well on the outside. It's only about 2 pounds, so it's not that heavy. The inside and the grain has come out spectacularly. On the bottom, of course, is the badge. Not completely happy with the bottom. I may resand that and redo it, but it sits nicely and level on the tabletop. There you have it, guys. That's this week's project complete. Got another one coming up for next week. Hope you enjoyed this one, and grateful and appreciative to following my channel. So next week, cheers.